What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again with my top 5 SEC rankings after week 5. And yep, we got a shake up once again. Some teams that was in the top 5 last week may not be in the top 5 this week. Because guess what? They went down on Saturday. And if you go down on the field, you go down in KB's top 5 SEC rankings. So if your team went down a spot or two, or if your team is no longer on KB's top 5 SEC rankings list after week 5, it's because they lost. So don't come in the comment section whining and crying, bitching and moaning because your team fell a couple of spots or is no longer in my top 5. Okay? Let's get that understood right now. They lost. Let that sink in. But anyway, let's get to the video. This is what my top 5 rankings looked like last week. Vandy, Oklahoma, LSU. Well, Vandy at number 1, Oklahoma at number 2, LSU at number 3, Georgia at number 4, and Tennessee at number 5. So let's get into this week. Coming in at number 5 is my Alabama Crimson Tide. Yeah, they made it back in my top 5. Yes, they did. And I'm gonna tell you why they did it. Why they back in the top 5. For the past 3 weeks, my Alabama Crimson Tide offense looked to be the best offense in the SEC. Looks to be. Now, I know Vandy is doing their thing, but I think offensively, my Alabama Crimson Tide is a step above Vandy. Opinion based. This whole video, this whole top 5 SEC rankings is opinion based. So that's my opinion. Alabama, to me, offensively, is playing the best football in the SEC. Alabama ranked the 17th team in the nation. Went to Athens, Georgia, between the hedges, Sanford Stadium, and beat those Georgia Bulldogs that at the time was the 5th ranked team in the nation. My Alabama Crimson Tide went into Sanford Stadium and beat those Georgia Bulldogs and ended a 33-game home win streak. 33 tried, 33 failed. And my Alabama Crimson Tide went in that stadium, in that environment, and took down those Georgia Bulldogs. Not only did they take down the Georgia Bulldogs, they controlled the game the whole entire game. Alabama led the whole game. Once they went up 7-0, they never relinquished the lead. Never. Even though Georgia ran for 227 yards on Alabama, Alabama still outgained them in total yards. Sure did. Another reason, I feel like I got the best quarterback in the country to lead my offense. That's opinion based. All right. I understand we got things to work on the defensive side of the ball as far as run defense. I understand that. But in this game against Georgia, my Alabama Crimson Tide came up with some big stops. Teams out there that Georgia done played couldn't stop that offense, that rushing game. We couldn't stop the rushing game either. But in saying that, we made big stops. That's why Georgia had to punt the ball 4 times in the game. Georgia punted more than Alabama. Even with that run game. Even with that run game, picking up 227 yards on Alabama, Alabama still time of possession. Alabama had the ball 10 more minutes than Georgia. You would think a team that ran for 227 yards would win time of possession. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. So, hey, it is what it is. I think Alabama, offensively, is playing complete football, complementary football. We doing everything by committee, running or rushing and passing. Everything is by committee. I know Jeremy Bernard is our number one wide receiver, but guess what? We got several wide receivers that get touches. So it is what it is, man. And for those reasons, after week 5, I got my Alabama Crimson Tide at number 5. And coming in at number 4, the Texas A&M Aggies. Texas A&M sitting at 4-0 right now. They've been playing some great football. They beat Notre Dame. They done beat Auburn. And as far as this past week, they totally dominated Oregon. Auburn. I said Oregon. But they dominated Auburn. They sacked that quarterback 7 freaking times. They held Jackson Arnold to only 125 passing yards. They held the Auburn Tigers to only 177 total yards. That's what they did. The defense for Texas A&M, all the while chalking up 414 yards of offense. They was balanced. 207 yards passing, 207 yards rushing on Auburn. And Auburn got a pretty good defense. All right. But anyway, Le'Veon Moss, 139 yards on that defense. Come on, man. KC Conception, 113 yards on 7 catches. Texas A&M is a complete team offensively and defensively. Okay? Texas A&M is a force to be reckoned with in the SEC. And every opponent on their schedule that's left on their schedule better take notice. Better take notice of these Texas A&M Aggies. They ain't bullshitting. That coach, he went to Texas A&M and made a complete change or complete turnaround from when Jimbo Fisher was there. So everybody better take notice of what Texas A&M is doing. All right. So they at number 4. At number 3, the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss doing their thing. Ole Miss sitting at 5-0, coming off a win against LSU. LSU was the 4th ranked team at that time on Saturday. Now who number 4? Ole Miss. Ole Miss sitting at number 4 right now, sitting at 5-0. Trinidad Chambers is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the country right now. Not the best, because I think I got the best quarterback in the country right now. But Trinidad Chambers is doing his thing. 3 straight games over 300 yards passing. Come on, man. Also, this Ole Miss defense, it ain't half bad either. Now, I know they gave up points against Arkansas. They gave up 23 to Kentucky. That's all fine and dandy. But guess what? Last 2 games, they only gave up 10 points. Tulane is a good team, and they gave up 19 to LSU. Okay, fine and dandy. The defense is capable of stopping anybody. And I'm talking about a damn Pete Golden defense. Make that make sense. But Lane Kiffin got this offense clicking on all cylinders. I'm telling you, 63 against Georgia State. They put up 30 on Kentucky. They put up 41 on Ole Miss. They put up 45 on Tulane. Okay. LSU kind of held them in check. LSU was the best defense they done played. So, but and even then, they gained 480 yards on LSU's offense. And LSU's defense, and LSU was the best defense they done played. So come on now. Come on, buddy. It is what it is. And they ran up 166 yards on LSU's defense. And for those reasons, I got Ole Miss as the number 3 ranked team in the SEC. Y'all give me y'all opinion. Coming in at number 2, the same team that was at number 2 last week, Oklahoma. Oklahoma was on a bye week. But y'all have seen what Oklahoma did. Their last game was against Auburn. What did they do to Auburn? Quarterback sacked him 10 times. That's all they did. That's all they did. As a matter of fact, let's go back to Texas A&M. Texas A&M held Auburn to 0 of 13 on third down. I just want to put that out there. All right. But anyway, when they played Oklahoma, when Oklahoma played Auburn, they held Auburn to 3 of 15 on third down. Come on, man. Come on now. So they completely dominated Auburn in the game. The score don't tell the story. They only won by 7 points against Auburn, but they totally dominated Auburn in their game. Oklahoma is a complete team, offensively and defensively. Now, I don't know how it's going to go with an injured John Mateer. I don't know if he'll be back next game. I think next game they only got Kent State, so they're going to win that game. All right, but they're a complete team. They're a complete team. Power 4 teams that they done played, Michigan and Auburn, they beat both of them. So it is what it is. Oklahoma is one of the best teams in the SEC. So it is what it is. All right. At number 1, once again, same team from last week, those Vanderbilt Commodores. Vanderbilt balling out. Diego Pavia balling out. They defense balling out. These guys put up over 50 points a game this past week also. This offense is clicking on all cylinders. Now, I know this defense gave up freaking 35 points. The score was 55-35 against Utah State. But guess what? The game was over going into the fourth quarter. Matter of fact, going into the fourth quarter, the score was 31-48-21. The last 2 touchdowns that Utah State got in the fourth quarter was in garbage time. So, so take away those, it would have been 55-21. All right. So, but this damn offense is clicking. Diego Pavia, 321 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. And he had 59 yards rushing and a touchdown. Come on, man. Ain't nobody stopping this Vanderbilt offense. Why hasn't nobody stopped Vanderbilt offense this year? And now my Alabama Crimson Tide is tasked to attempt to do it. And hopefully, I know Alabama ain't going to stop them, but I'm hoping they can just slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. We know what they all about. We came, old man. I don't want to see no shit. But anyway, we know what this Vanderbilt offense is about. All right, but hey, it is what it is. When you look at Vanderbilt's offense, as I said, 55 against Utah State, 70 against Georgia State, 31 against South Carolina, 44 against Virginia Tech, 45 against Charleston Southern. Come on, man. Who thought coming into this season Vandy would look like this? I most definitely didn't. Most definitely. These guys are balling out. And I said it last week, how many points they averaging per game, which was, I believe it was over, let me check. I think it was over 50 points a game that they was averaging freaking, I think it was over 50 points a game. Vanderbilt averaged 47.5 points per game. That's a lot. And on average, this was last week's now, they give up 12.75. Now, it probably went up in both of those categories after this week. But Vandy is the most complete team in the SEC right now, and they playing the most complete football of any team in the SEC as a team, offensively and defensively. And I don't think anybody can disagree with that. I don't. But that's my top 5 SEC rankings after week 5. All right. So hate it, love it. I really don't give a damn. But that's my top 5. And I went with my Alabama Crimson Tide, the Texas at number 5, Alabama at number 5, Texas A&M Aggies at number 4, Ole Miss Rebels at number 3, Oklahoma at number 2, and Vanderbilt at number 1. So put it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree? All right. So, hey, it is what it is. If your team was on it last week and they ain't on it this week, it's because they lost. Or Tennessee didn't lose, but they struggled like hell. They didn't look like the Tennessee team that they looked like when I had them in my top 5 SEC rankings. All right, Tennessee put up a good showing against Georgia, even though they lost in overtime by 3. And then with Mississippi State, nobody thought that Tennessee was being a game like that against Mississippi State. They had to go in overtime with them too. So that's why I dropped Tennessee at my top 5 ranking. I think Joey Aguilar had 2 interceptions in that game. But guess what? It's too easy for Tennessee to get back in to my top 5 SEC rankings. Georgia was at number 4 last week. I dropped them out. Why? Because they lost against my Alabama Crimson Tide. All right. LSU was at number 3. They ain't in it this week. Why? Because they lost to Ole Miss. UGA was ranked as the 5th best team last week. LSU was ranked as the 4th best team, and both of them go down. They can't remain. They can't remain. So, hey, maybe they'll get back in it this week. If somebody loses in the top 5 this week, we'll see. But anyway, until then, y'all just let me know what you think. Put it in the comment section. And y'all be blessed. And remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, and roll damn Tide.